Subscribe. Listen. Get better.
When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. Persistence is very important. You should not give up unless you are forced to give up. The first step is to establish that something is possible. Then probability will occur. I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. Life is too short for long-term grudges. I could either watch it happen or be a part of it. The path to the CEO's office should not be through the CFO's office, and it should not be through the marketing department. It needs to be through engineering and design. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. The only thing that makes sense is to strive for greater collective enlightenment. If you're not failing, you're not innovating. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. Work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in 80 to 100-hour weeks every week. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. Constantly seek criticism. A well-thought-out critique of whatever you're doing is as valuable as gold. If you're co-founder or CEO, you have to do all kinds of tasks you might not want to do. If you don't do your chores, the company won't succeed. No task is too menial. If something's important enough, you should try, even if the probable outcome is failure. Don't confuse schooling with education. I didn't go to Harvard, but the people that work for me did. You want to be extra rigorous about making the best possible thing you can. Find everything that's wrong with it and fix it. Starting a company is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. My biggest mistake is probably weighing too much on someone's talent and not someone's personality. I think it matters whether someone has a good heart. If you need inspiration, don't do it. I'm interested in things that change the world, or that affect the future, and wondrous new technology where you see it and you're like, wow, how did that even happen? How is that possible? Talent is extremely important. It's like a sports team. The team that has the best individual player will often win, but then there's a multiplier effect with how those players work together and the strategy they employ. If you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have all the ingredients in the right proportion. It's very important to like the people you work with. Otherwise, life and your job is going to be quite miserable. If you go back a few hundred years, what we take for granted today would seem like magic. Being able to talk to people over long distances, to transmit images, flying, accessing vast amounts of data like an oracle. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. The tough thing is figuring out what questions to ask, but once you do that, the rest is really easy. When I was in college, I wanted to be involved in things that would change the world. Now I am. I don't think it's a good idea to plan to sell a company. Patience is a virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. I don't believe in process. In fact, when I interview a potential employee and they say that it's all about the process, I see that as a bad sign. I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad. What makes innovative thinking happen? I think it's really a mindset. You have to decide. If the rules are such that you can't make progress, then you have to fight the rules. I think we have a duty to maintain the light of consciousness to make sure it continues into the future. Optimism, pessimism, forget that. We're going to make it happen. As God is my bloody witness, I'm hell-bent on making it work. I always have optimism, but I'm realistic. It was not with the expectation of great success that I started Tesla or SpaceX. It's just that I thought they were important enough to do anyway. If humanity doesn't land on Mars in my lifetime, I would be very disappointed. There have to be reasons that you get up in the morning and you want to live. Why do you want to live? What's the point? What inspires you? What do you love about the future? Great companies are built on great products. If you're going to create a company, the best way is to create a compelling product or service, and the whole world will beat a path to your door. I say something and then it usually happens. Maybe not on schedule, but it usually happens. I could either watch it happen or be a part of it.
Subscribe.